because they asked me to. So there we go. Um, so what I thought today is and I don't want to keep you long, especially Mark and Carol, you're on vacation. So we'll be somewhat quick. I wanted to go over the itinerary briefly, talk about some of the things that you'll need and answer, any questions, but then give you time to kind of answer a few more. Now, we do have time, and I know that questions will come up. I just wanted to do this now because I'm leaving on Friday for Bhutan and Nepal. So, but of course, I will be available through WhatsApp and email and everything. And, we can get questions, answered during that time. But I wanted to give people a chance to meet and when you're together, that's often when your questions, kind of come up and you think about things when other people say something. So I am going to just kind of start with our 33-page packet. And
Yeah.
I tried a different format, Larry and Brad, just because I know that people kind of have a hard time finding exactly where things are. So I kind of made it a little bigger and so you can follow which different things are going on. I do have all those before you go reminders that I think are helpful. So hopefully you'll read about that. And then there's the weather, the electronics, money. As I said, I'll just kind of reiterate in terms of the money. Most everything is covered. So you really don't need, I mean, alcohol's not, your own, like, if you decide, you want snack or an extra drink or whatever. So, I put in there, 400 to 600. I don't think you'll even need that, but just in case or whatever, and souvenirs. But they do have, I have to apologize because my brain's been so Bhutan and Nepal where we're not going to have a lot of ATMs and things like that. But Belize does have in most of the popular places. But having the cash, they do take dollars. So and I would say probably keeping it somewhat, like more like the 20s, the 10s, because if they will give you change back in Belize currency.
They
So
don't accept ones.
they don't accept ones,
Five,
right?
tens, 20s. They'll take American dollars. Don't change money. You don't have to.
Right.
It's tied 2 to 1. Done.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. They're really, for the immunizations, did any of you guys go to a travel clinic? So, I am already kind of immunized with everything. So the ones that I would say, other than like your regular tetanus, typhoid, they also recommend the Hep A and Hep B. I have not gotten Hep B. And then, how do you pronounce it? Chikungunya? Is that how you pronounce it, Anthony? You don't know. So
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
when I was at the travel clinic and was talking to the nurse about that, she said it is possible to get it, but it's more rare where we're going to be. So we decided not to. But if you are one of these, with me, if you are someone who is more, risk abhorrent or whatever, and want to make sure that you're covered, then that would be another immunization to get.
Do you know how long typhoid, Hep A and B are good for?
Well, I think if you get the series of the Hep A, it's a lifetime. So I think is it 2 or 3 that were in the series? I think it's 2, actually.
It's two.
It's
Two.
two, yeah. So if you get the two, then you're covered. Typhoid depends on if you took it orally or with a shot. I think the pills are 5 years and the shot is 3 years. So do you remember what you got?
That doesn't matter. It was more than 3 and 5 years ago.
Okay. So I also did want to just talk about the food, and I have the section that most of you who've traveled know about, making sure that, food is cooked and that type of thing. I will just say that the places that we are eating at, like Monkey Bay and the restaurants that we picked, and when we're in Key-Calker, the restaurant is serving, breakfast. Those are all fine. The water's fine, those are places. The things to be more concerned about or you want to watch are something like on a street or something like that. Although Key-Calker, that's how they sell a lot of their food through like food trucks. And in fact, the day that we're doing the kayak with a purpose, they're actually bringing one of the food trucks to us, and I'll tell you why I went with this. I thought it was really sweet because this person who does the food trucks brings food to the disadvantaged children who are learning from this academy, and they don't charge. So when she told me that, I said, oh, well, then it'll be nice for us to give them business. So it's a food truck that will come to us after our kayaking. But I know that when I say these things about, being careful, then people don't, they get really nervous at some of the locations that, that we've selected to eat. And I just wanted you to know that we've picked places that we know use filtered water and that type of thing. Moving on to the itinerary itself. Anthony, do you want to go through the days or you want me to? You want to do it?
You go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead. So our first day is our just kind of loosely hangout day. We're going to do two runs. Brad is coming in the latest at 3. I think is it Melissa? Who one of you, Susan or Melissa, is coming in at 12? Is it you?
I think we're coming in the latest.
You're coming in the latest. So we're gonna get everyone like after Brad comes in. I'm sorry if I said the
Yeah, I
later.
think I get there at 12. Larry and I are on the same flight.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
like 1, but you're probably 12 or 12 something maybe.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're in contact, it's possible, maybe we can get you a little earlier and maybe drop you off somewhere, or and while we wait for Brad to come. Once Brad is the latest on that part, we'll bring you back to Monkey Bay and then hang out and do that. Get ready for dinner, and then we'll pick Mark and Carol up. So and then we will probably start dinner because you guys don't land until 7, and it all depends at the airport. It could go fast, but they always say to kind of count on an hour and a half before you're out of there. So even though it is a very small airport, I think, I was saying, I made a place to meet being, like by the bathroom on the first floor or whatever. I think it'll be pretty easy to find each other. I will, before we leave, make a WhatsApp group for all of us. And so if we can't find each other, the airport does have the free Wi-Fi. If we can't find each other, whatever, we'll just WhatsApp each other.
It is going to be very hard to get lost at this airport.
It's a cute little.
Pretty pretty user friendly because it's about that big. So should be pretty easy to find everybody.
So then the next day is our canoeing. I have some times in there. They're sometimes are fairly rigid when we have to be at some place, but some are a little looser. I think Sunday, our first day is a little, I mean, they have times that we have to meet the canoe, but we can be not a little easier on this day. We're doing the canoe. We're coming back to Monkey Bay because it's not that far from where the canoe is. We're coming back. We're having lunch at Monkey Bay, and then we're going to the Belize Zoo, which I have been reading about and didn't know. I mean, Anthony told me that it was, not really a zoo. It's more of a rehab center, and I've been, investigating, and it really is kind of awesome what they're doing over there. So again, every day I put on the side, kind of what to bring, and I just repeated to have, insect repellent, sunscreen, and clothes that, like for the canoeing, you want something that's going to be quick dry. It's going to dry pretty quickly. The weather, probably early mornings because we are in December may have a slight chill, and you guys from Los Angeles may even think it's cold. But Brad and I will be wearing our like sleeveless things for we'll think it's like hot, hot. But so then you might want like a little long sleeve, something or other with you. But and Anthony and I talked about making sure that we reiterated the part in here about sunscreen and for the part that we're in the jungle, I mean you can have two different types, but to make sure that your sunscreen is reef safe as well as your insect repellent. And they do sell those in at the store at Monkey Bay. So if you just want to wait until then to get it, that's fine. And right, there we go. And I wrote like, water shoes, flip-flops for this day. You can kind of figure out what you want to do for shoes because then when we go into the cave, it's like a different type of water shoe or whatever that they say that they want you to have. I think that's the one. Is that the one that they say that they want you to have ankle straps or no?
No, just closed toe.
Okay, closed toe.
Closed toe.
So that's Sunday, awesome day. And then we start going into on Monday we have a very long day, but it's very it's filled, but it's great. We're gonna get up really early because we want to get to Coxcomb Basin when there's still like some of the like birds and animals that are coming out to just because it's beautiful. So we are going to take a packed breakfast with us because we don't know if people are really ready to eat at like 6 o'clock, but there will be coffee and everything for you to have before you go. Then we're going to do I should probably let Anthony give a little bit about Coxcomb if you want to.
Sure. So the reason for leaving early is because most animals don't sleep in, particularly birds. So if you want to see some birds, we'll have a guide with us. These guys are really, really knowledgeable about the wildlife there. So it's good to get out there early while things are still moving around and happening out there because things tend to calm down during the day. But
we do have a little bit of a drive to get there.
Yeah, it's not that far.
An hour and a half?
Hour 15, hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
And then the drive into the reserve itself is really pretty. That's only like 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. But the hike is, it is uphill to Tiger Fern Falls. It is a gorgeous hike. And the falls themselves, it's a double fall and two swimming holes that if you want to swim in, you can. And they're really, really pretty. There's plenty of places to stop en route on this hike if you want to like sit down for a few minutes. There's no rush. There's, the whole experience about being in rainforest is sitting there and being in a rainforest and letting it come alive around you and actually noticing what's going on around you. So there's no rush at all to get up there. And we'll have some guides with us, including myself, and I guide all over the place as well. But it's gorgeous, and we're gonna have a great. It's really a pretty hike. It is, like I said, uphill, but
Yeah,
but
so
not a huge rigorous like strenuous climb. But we can take breaks as needed if people need
yeah,
breaks.
and if there are, we're picking one trail, but if people want to, we're kind of open and people want to do more, more of the hiking, we can keep,
We might add a hike as well, depending on the timing of everything. There's plenty of we'll do this first because it's a more strenuous one. And if we do another hike, there's a lot of just flat hikes around there as well and shorter loops. So there'll be opportunities to hike through some of that forest again.
And then we're going to do a kind of just a float in the tubes through there before we hit for our picnic lunch. And then we get to go to I'm not going to say, they called it Chocolate Factory, but it's a family that makes chocolate. And we're going to learn the process and actually help in, we probably won't, make it for other people, but we may make something for ourselves. They probably won't let us do that. But so it'll be with a family. But it is like a factory. And do some chocolate tasting. And then we're going to head into a little town. We can walk around this little village. It's called Hopkins Bay, and that's where we'll end up having dinner. So that is.
And Hopkins is a Garifuna village. Very, very cute. One of the cultures of Belize is Garifuna, and it's a Garifuna village. They're people who came from the islands who settled in Belize, so their culture is unique to them in Belize.
I'm just looking to see what I wrote in terms of bringing things along that day. You'll want to probably a change of clothing. We're going to have a van with us the whole time that we will be locking up, and so if you bring stuff, we can get back to it or come back afterwards and change or whatever we want to leave in if they get wet from the floating and that type of thing. The next day is the horseback riding. Actually, they asked us to ask you guys, so we have 2 or 3 mornings in a row that are pretty early mornings, and they said that they could do pack breakfast for all of those, or if you thought that you may want to get up early and have a hot breakfast. I see Melissa's like a no. You want to should we do the packed breakfasts? Are you fine with that? Or, I mean, not all of them will be because we'll be in for a little, but we can talk about that more. I just remember that they had asked me and I said, can I tell you on the first day? And they were like, but we can. So we can just something to think about. So the next day is the day that we go horseback riding to the ruins. The horseback ride is about a 45-minute ride. We should be spending about an hour or so at the rooms and then the 45-minute back. Is that about right, Anthony? Yeah. And then we have a very special afternoon with these women who are they've created their own co-op to support their families and their village, and they are going, and part of it is that they are going to show us how to do some of the crafts that they do, as well as they're gonna and I think we're going to be helping make lunch and having our lunch there. I think that is it. We were stopping at the butterfly farm, but we changed that on the way back, right?
Yeah,
Because we
because
thought it was going to
you're
be a
probably
really
not
long
going to be
day.
able to make it by the time they close.
Yeah.
So we'll find
And
out.
then the next day is the day into the cave. I have neither Anthony nor I have been in this cave, but I will say my niece and nephew did go for their honeymoon to this, and they're in their 20s, and they said they said it was, I guess challenging was the word that they used. Mainly because you have to, at the beginning, swim in, or when you're walking, the water will be coming like up to here at some point. Not very long time that you're in water that high. And then after you get through kind of the swimming part, they try and bring you to the drier area, which is where the kind of skeleton, the Mayan ruins are. So they said that there was like a little bit of bouldering and type of feel, like climbing over things. So I'm just telling you, just so that you're prepared, like I think it's going to be an adventure. So, but I don't know, but they also said that it was the best part of their trip in Belize. So I'm excited to go. Anthony, have
Yeah,
anything?
so I have various friends that are guides down in Belize. They're Belizean and who guide into ATM as well, and have said that they haven't had any issues with anybody, regardless of age or ability, going through the cave and helping them through. And they've never said
Yeah,
that
and I actually,
they've
that
had
is,
big issues with anybody,
yeah, they
So
did say to me too that, if anyone does need help, there's always, guides to help through. This
and
is the
everyone gets a
one,
jacket anyway, so you could kind of float through the swim part as well.
right. They did say here that to have the sandals that, not only are closed, but also this is where they want the ankles, because you could kind of lose your shoes off of that. So, like the Tevas, the Tevas that have the closed toe and the ankle strap are probably great for the kayak, the canoe,
All right.
and yeah, and this. And that will be a good portion of the day. And then we have a very special guest that will be with us at dinner, and it'll be our last night in the jungle part before we leave for the key. And so on the Thursday, the 5th, we start, we're going to go to the baboon
Bermudian
sanctuary.
landing.
Right,
Bermudian
Bermudian
landing and the community baboon sanctuary.
sanctuary. But they
Yeah.
aren't baboons. That's what the people in Belize call them. They're actually howler monkeys.
The Yucatan black howler.
Yeah. And the person who oversees that actually will be, talking with us. And we'll be able to see all the howler monkeys before we, and then we're having, in that nature reserve, we're having lunch. And then we are going to go, take the water shuttle over to the key. The shuttle ride is about 45 minutes. It's pretty, to get over there, they have a schedule and it's mainly on time. I've heard a few people say that they've been delayed, which is why you'll see on coming back why we're giving a lot of extra time just in case. But we should get there probably by 4:30 is my guess. Well, our hotel will pick us up in golf carts, and because there's no cars, and when we get to the hotel, you'll see that we also have they have bicycles there that you can just take out. It's a chill place, very chill and laid back. So we will, hang out for a little bit, probably, catch the sunset with a drink, and then we'll head to dinner. And then Friday is the snorkeling day, the full day snorkel. I know Anne asked me about gear and if that is included. And it is, but I would say that if anyone has their own mask or, snorkel mask or anything, yeah, I would say if you have it, bring it. I'm sure it's better than, having your own. It probably feels better than, having a rental. So,
But also if there's any dead time, you can just jump in the water if you still want to be in the water and snorkel around yourself. And
right,
there's literally sea life all over the place. So if you have your own gear, you can just go.
Yeah. And then, so again, after the snorkel day, come back, hang out, kind of repeat. I know the next day Melissa's leaving us on Saturday. But on Saturday is when we're going to be doing our kayak trip, and we will be including with that kind of like a beach cleanup or some type of restoration. They're still kind of working on exactly what we're going to be doing, but the school that it's called the Ocean Academy that was put together for for kids that didn't have, weren't going to school, so they did some education, and now what they're doing is this particular academy are teaching, these, high school students about conservation and the reefs and everything. So they are going to be our guides along with, the teachers, but it's giving them a chance to, teach, because I think most of us know that, you learn best by teaching. So, so I thought that was going to be a really unique thing. And that's our last night that we will be going out for dinner and celebrating. And then the next day we'll, depending on the time that you're leaving, we'll get you on on one of the water taxis back. And I know that Larry's staying an extra day. Anthony, you're staying the extra day too, right? All right. So
I'm diving for another 3 days.
So that's our itinerary. It's packed 7 days. So now I'm gonna ask you guys to, if you have any questions or if there's anything that, go ahead, Melissa.
Will the hotel have towels that we could bring on the day trips with us, or do we need to bring our own?
I would bring your own. They might, but I don't know if they would have. I don't know about in terms of the drying of them or whatever so quickly. So
They're going to be cotton towels if you bring them, like on the day trips. What I do personally, like, yeah, the hotel has their towels. I always bring a smaller, like, microfiber camp towel
Right, yeah,
Okay,
to just dampen off,
it's, yeah.
water off.
got it.
But a small one, like almost a hand towel,
Yeah.
is adequate enough to dry yourself off.
And I do think that the hotel for on Cape Cocker, I think that they actually have towels that they give you for your snorkel and whatever trip. But
Got it.
just like you may want something just to, like, between the canoeing, or or the cave, just to have something with you.
I have a
And
question.
yes,
What's the water temperature in the cave and the float?
I think I read 50 in the cave. Was that right? Or no, it was warmer.
It's warmer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 would be pretty chilly.
50
Yeah.
really chilly. It's like 65-ish. Lake
65.
Michigan.
Okay.
So it's or LA water, like in the ocean there, Santa Monica,
Yeah, okay.
where I came from this morning, actually. And the water was 65 this morning.
Yeah.
So doable for,
I'm
not
going
so
to,
for a long, long time, but
yeah. That is a good question. I'll double check on that. And then the rivers, I think, will be warmer.
yes.
Just for, yeah.
I have a question.
Bradley.
Um,
Yes, Bradley.
Is there an expectation that we're gonna have to be tipping our guides? And if so, how much should we bring for that?
So I wrote that in the last page of your packet. So I wrote tipping is optional, but we encourage it. And then I wrote the few, like the day guys that they say is somewhere between $5 to $10 per guide, per person, per day.
Okay.
Yeah, and we don't have like scheduled guides well, I guess we do for most of the activities. So yeah, $5, $10. It's not expected at all, tipping, and they don't look at you funny if you don't. It's just a really nice thing to do, and they really do a really good job.
Yeah, and I think I put some money in there, and again, purely optional, but I did let, the Monkey Bay staff, we are going to be the only people there at Monkey Bay. So, all the staff are coming and, taking care of it, it's just us. So, so I did put something in there on that last page to maybe leave at the end for them after the 5 days that will be there.
Yeah, it's guiding there, just so you understand, it's a profession. They're all certified. You can't do any guiding in Belize. You have to go to school for it. You have to get certified. You have to be official. So it is their job to guide and keep people safe and educated.
Yeah, and and there may be times where, Anthony and I were talking about like the snorkeling where they will, it's required that you wear a life jacket. Is that what they're called? Life jacket? That sounds funny right now.
It's a snorkeling jacket.
Oh, so,
Is
yeah.
what it is. It's specifically made for snorkeling.
So, yeah, and, even in the cave, you'll be wearing, so they have their laws, but I'm okay with that.
Robin, can you describe what the menu's going to be consisting of?
So the typical, well, I mean, for me, I think it's going to be rice and beans, but so that's the typical Belizeans dishes are more like, the rice, the beans, and then they can, what's plantains,
Plantains and chicken.
Yeah, and chicken. I mean, it's not,
But
and
they're pretty creative with vegetables as well. But most of The animal they eat is chicken for the most part.
Okay. Not
There's-
sea or fish.
On the coast and in Key Kalker, absolutely seafood.
Yeah, so all the restaurants that we, on the key that we picked, it's mostly, the main thing is like fish. But they do have, we've checked to make sure that they also have vegetarian options and then other for people who don't, eat that. So they all have that. For the restaurants that we're going to be going to, like in Hopkins Bay, it's, I figured that we're going to be doing a lot of traditional food for most of the time. So I think the restaurant in Hopkins Bay is more, like option for pasta and stuff like that. So you have a little variety.
Okay.
But what else? I'm trying
And the
to think.
weather, what kind of weather should we expect? Is it going to be any rain, or is it going to be fairly fair weather?
Well, nowadays, who knows what it's hard to say, but it is supposed to be pretty. I mean, at this point,
Mostly
It's
fair, but
mostly fair.
there will
It could-
be, we'll probably see a thunderstorm or two roll through.
Okay.
Right,
But
and
it's not,
they're
it's not
not
the
low.
rainy season, so there's not going to be prolonged rains for like 48 hours or something like that. They should
Right.
just be storms that come
Hopefully.
through, rain, or maybe it'll be cloudy or overcast and maybe a little rain, but it's dry season, so it should be it should be fair and pretty clear.
The poncho would be a good thing to bring.
Yeah, or light rain jacket, or just a poncho, like you said, something very light.
Yeah. Yeah, I always laugh now with weather because who knows now? It's just been, we just can't count on, like saying dry season or it's been a little crazy. But it is supposed to be dry season.
It's supposed to be like almost 80 here tomorrow in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah. It's supposed to be
Oh,
like
wow.
78, 79 degrees.
I'm telling you, Chicago's going to be the place to live.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Uh, or anything else? I think, like I said, look over those kind of things to do before you leave. Tips that I put in there about checking your phone and all that. They said don't even bother getting a SIM card. The people that we were there, and everything's going to have. I shouldn't say everywhere, but the majority of the time we will be in places with Wi-Fi, so you can always use WhatsApp.
Oh,
And
Robin?
also, you can use Wi-Fi calling too. And
Yeah,
if you need
if
to
you
call
have it.
anybody. I've never had a problem just calling almost anywhere in the country outside of like the middle of Coxcomb. Yeah, your phone's not going to work, but everywhere you can just pick it up and make a call anywhere you want.
Yes, Melissa.
You said you needed over the ankle hiking boots. Are the hikes that intense, or like is the hiking like say like a hiking sneaker?
Well, I think what I said to you. I mean, what I told Kate, I don't know if she got back to you, but if you're used to hiking with in something that is not so tough and you feel fine, then that's fine. I mean, if you have a hike, whatever you normally would hike with, I personally like a little more ankle stability.
Okay.
So, but I know that sometimes that's a much heavier shoe.
Mhm.
So,
I use trail runners, Melissa.
Okay.
That's all I hiked in for 20 years. Just trail
Okay.
runners are a little bit more fortified. They got a good tread on them.
Okay.
But that's what I'm used to.
Okay.
right. So somewhere in between Anthony and me,
Yeah. I'll just bring everything.
I didn't say barefoot, okay? Although I've done it before in the rainforest, but I didn't say that. And also like diving, snorkeling, even like the canoe day. I just want to say like this is like my dive chafe guard shirt. It's SPF 50. Like I love this thing. Any water sports I do, kayaking, anything. and it's just a polypro shirt, SPF 50, fast drying. I love this thing. I wear it to dive, I wear it kayaking, I wear it doing any water sport. I just throw it on, done. So I don't even have to lather up my body with sunscreen.
Yep.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I will let you all get back to whatever you are doing at various times around the country here. And again, like I said, I mean, I know that we're still, a month or so plus away, so things may come up. So definitely shoot me an email or whatever, I guess even put it into, the email with all of our, if you have a question, for everyone so that we can, people may have other questions that kind of spin off everyone else's. And I'm sure I may not talk to you before I will talk to you before our trip probably and get everything going, but I am not coming back until November 23rd. So,
Safe travel.
What?
Safe travels.
Thank you. I know it's a 17-hour flight. It's without nonstop. Oh, I'd rather be in Belize. Yes, Larry.
No, just
Oh,
waving
you were saying
bye-bye.
goodbye? Thank you. All right. Everyone, have a great evening and we'll be in touch.
Ciao, everyone.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.